Ready.
Wow.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Huh?
It's all 5 of these are add-on.
Yeah. Or you gonna just say resolution with respect to certain purchases?
All right, we've got five add-on resolutions. One for machinery repair, one for building, one's for replacing the garage doors, one's to pay for the new sign, and the last two are for paying for the new truck. ARPA funds and a line item number. All right, public forum regarding agenda items only. Okay. All right, highway report, Dale Root.
Good evening. We have accomplished many tasks since last month's report. The dirt roads were graded and smoothed over for the fall and hopefully the winter season. If we need to, we'll touch them up again. The department helped out many other municipalities finish their projects. With our neighbors' help, we were able to put shoulder material down on Bigford Road, finishing that paving project, along with many other roads to make safer travel. We continue mowing fire halls, parks, vaults when we can. Jeremy is working on gravestone foundations. Picking up dead deer. We were able to secure a tractor to put on our roadside mower, but the second time out the hitch broke. It's out for repair. We'll continue when reinstalled. Thank you, Land Pro, for your assistance. Men are working on plow trucks. Yes, it's that season drawing near. Did our quarterly water reads. I attended fall conference. This morning we had a water main break on Saltworks Road. The men had it repaired in good measure. All services are on. Always the never-ending stacking of e-waste. Okay, I have some answers to a few questions that were posed to me. When does the warranty start on this new truck? Well, the warranty on the new truck starts when we have it finished and put it into service. The time frame for the plow and the equipment. I finally signed the paperwork for the equipment 2 weeks ago. Was told the truck should be completed by November 2025. I will be advised soon to what locale this will happen in. Why does it take so long to get it equipped? It takes so long because each outfitter is experiencing severe backlogs. Why wasn't it ordered when the truck was ordered? Well, it was. But after we had a date for delivery of the truck, the outfitter said it would be 2 years, as there were over 200 trucks ahead of us. We found another outfitter, and we should have the truck by November next year. It would have been ready to go by April, but we didn't have a secure order in. And the time out for a new truck, if you wanted to order another one, it would take, I talked to the dealer today because there is a backlog of automatic transmissions. It would be sometime in 2026 before we could get a cab and chassis with an automatic. If we choose to go with a manual transmission, they say we can probably have it late summer 2025. When you order a cab and a chassis, you cannot get an order or a timed build slot for the equipment until there's a build date for the truck and a serial number. There's just way too many people in line. Budget lines, there was some questions I'd like to clear up. The DB 55, I think it's the 5110-400. I apologize, I typed it wrong. This is my account for repair of town roads, buying summer diesel fuel, DEF, filters, repair of trucks and equipment purchases, etc. The DD 5110-100 is my men's payroll. The DD 5112-200 account is my CHIPS account. This is money that we received from the state of New York. It's a revolving reimbursement. You have to spend it to get it back, up to $259,000 and change. The DA 5130-400 is another line for repair of equipment. The DA 5142-400, these are monies used for winter snow plowing, buying winter diesel, snow plow parts, salt, and related products. The A 5010-400 is my superintendent contractual account, which pays for schools, office equipment, conferences, advocacy, and other expenses. Thank you.
Neil? Sorry, can CHIPS money be used for equipment?
Yes, but there's a process you have to go through.
Any equipment, or are you limited to certain?
Can't buy a lawnmower with it. You can buy a plow truck, you can buy a salt barn, you can purchase, I don't know if you can get a roadside mower, I do not think so.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Dale, one other thing. The warranty on the new truck. So even though we might take we would take possession, is that correct? If once we pay for it,
Yeah,
we would bring it here. Even though it's not, even though we have it, we took it off their site, the warranty would not start until we actually put the plow and box on it and started using it?
that is correct. The warranty wouldn't start until then.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you understood. Thank you.
Anything else?
Just to clarify, when we talked to the dealer this morning, we can take possession of the truck completely done until he registers it and puts it on the road. That's the day the
Until I
warranty.
put it in service.
Till the day it goes in service. So it could sit here for a year and we'd still have a full 6-year warranty.
But you carry insurance on it, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Dale. You good, Lynn?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Julie, assessors report.
Good evening. The office has been busy with, residents filing new exemptions. We've had some more assessment questions. As fall starts and the leaves start to fall off the trees, I will be checking on building permits that have been closed out. And then in the month of September, for Town of Shelby, 6 houses went on the market, 5 houses sold in the past month, and 3 of those 5 homes were sold over assessed value and all in the village. Anything else?
No, thank you, Julie. Mr. Myhill, planning board report. Are you doing Dan's report also?
No,
No, okay. No, is Dan?
was I supposed to?
No, I just don't see him.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Okay, we started out on October first, we started out with a public hearing at 6:45 for the internet tower that was supposed to go on the silo on the Herd Farm on Maple Ridge Road, basically to help Ricky Place. Unfortunately, I found out too late that a public notice was never put in the paper. Talked to the attorney here, and she advised me that we can still hold the public hearing, but to adjourn it to another date. So we had set October 15th at 6:45 to continue with this public hearing. So that I believe they're looking at a grant they want to get to do this with. So we're trying to get it through for him. It just fell through the cracks. All right, next thing we worked on at our regular meeting was the wind overlay and alternative energies that we got the moratorium on. Well, we went through it, and I do have copies for everybody up there, and I will hand them to you. It's just our recommendations to you. And hopefully, we're done with that,
Okay,
and that'll be that.
okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
This stapled sheet, this is the recommendation?
Yes,
Okay. And what's this?
that one is,
That's-
the zoning regulation
Okay,
that they're written as of now.
okay.
Right, so. It looks like what they did was, so the recommendations correspond to highlighted areas
Yes,
Of-
that's correct.
the law. So as you go through the law, you can look back at their sheet and figure out what they're recommending changes on. I would suggest that once we get through all of the budget workshops, that we have some sort of workshop meeting to discuss this. Would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Yep,
Thank you, Kirk.
yep.
I don't see Dan for code enforcement. Okay. Resolution to approve town clerk's report for September. Is there a motion? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? It's carried. Resolution to approve town board minutes for September. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion here. Approve
A second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That's carried. resolution to approve budget workshop meeting minutes.
That's gotta be tabled. I just
Okay.
finished them today.
All right.
You'll get them in your mailbox tomorrow. Do them next month.
Resolution to approve to pay the claims against the town. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I got something, we're not gonna receive the supervisor's report this month.
No. It's pretty much impossible till they fix the record. Unless you know something else.
I don't,
No.
no.
Okay.
I
Anything
mean,
else?
I have an update, but not, you're
I
not
was just gonna ask that, should we get the update now so we know where we stand for, or do you wanna wait and do that afterwards?
I can give it now, I mean, it's.
Go ahead.
So I had a meeting today with Nicole from Drescher and Malecki. They're working on basically sort of, because of the way Williamson law works, you can't go back in and make changes, so they have basically created sort of a quote-unquote dummy setup of what the town's accounts look like, and then they've started to go back through January and go back through all of the accounts and the checks. I think Nicole's plan at this point is she'd like to come out next week because there's some additional information she's hoping she might be able to, find by, coming here and explaining what she needs. So the game plan is for her and her associate who's assisting her on this to come out next week. She says late October is a good time for them to get things done, so she thinks once she comes out here, she'll be able to start to move through all of that pretty quickly.
Does she have an estimate now that she's had a little time to dig in and look as to how much longer she thinks it will take her?
It's gonna depend on what she finds next week, whether the records she's looking for exist or don't exist. And basically it involves bank reconciliation forms and some other documents. So she'll be able to give us a better idea of that after she comes out next week.
Has she been able to move through any months, like has she been able to update through June or is she's just at a standstill?
At this point, what her recommendation, I think, is going to be, is she wanted to look at January, and then she wanted to look at December. Because if she can do a reconciliation, right, to basically not have to go month by month, it will be less expensive, right? So she was gonna try and do January and try and do December, see if they can be reconciled, right? Like, because what she said she's seen, for example, so something in January wasn't right. She can see where an entry was made in August that fixed it in one of the other accounts. She hasn't looked at the general account yet because she's like, that's the one that's gonna take the most time, right? But in some of the smaller accounts she's looked at, she's noticed she's got January. If she goes through, she sees the change in August, then by the time she gets to December, it's good. So her point is, I can then tell that something's been done during the year. It may not have been done when it was supposed to be done, but it got done so that by December it was good. She doesn't necessarily need to go through month by month. And that would save the town money.
Yep.
So that's what she said she's going to try to do. She's not sure that that will be able to be the way that it gets accomplished, but that's her game plan for right now. And she'll know more again after she comes out next week. We're talking 23, yes. Right.
Not 24, 23.
Right.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor of pay the claims against the town, say aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm abstaining.
All right,
One no and one
I'm
abstention.
gonna
no.
abstain
Ed,
until
no,
we get,
Linda, abstain.
until we get further financial information.
That's carried. All right. Resolution to set budget meetings as follows. Resolution to set budget meetings as follows. October 10th and 11th at 6 p.m. Are these all the ones we said?
One resolution there, but we said yes.
Resolution to set budget meetings as follows, October 10th and 11th at 6 p.m. Special meeting to make tentative budget to preliminary budget on October 15th at 6 p.m. Public hearing to make preliminary budget to final budget on October 21st at 6 p.m.
Wait, what? No, I was busy going through meeting minutes. You have to, okay, I'm sorry, you're good. You said public hearing, right? Okay.
What was that? Okay, public hearing to make the preliminary budget the final budget on October 21st at 6 p.m. and adopt the final budget at November 7th.
Okay.
And this is tentative, so if you guys plan on attending any of these meetings, call the clerk's office in case we have to change them.
So we're only gonna have one budget hearing? Scheduled that, we may need more than one, what do you think, or no?
That's possible, but this is what we agreed to set up, yeah.
We left time there.
Right.
Can I ask one question? At the public hearing, when we make the preliminary final, does that mean we can't make changes?
No, you're not making the preliminary final that night, right? You're adopting the final budget on November 7th.
November 8th.
So it really should just be, you're scheduling a public hearing on the preliminary budget for October 21st. Sorry, I was confused by that too. Right.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
No, second.
Any further discussion? Okay.
Are you also having a regular meeting in November, or is your regular meeting gonna move to November 7th?
No, our regular board meeting will be,
Will still be November 12th?
no, we need to reschedule that. Yes, it will be in November 12th, yes. November 12th, yes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That's carried. All right, let's, okay. I'm gonna read the resolution, then we can discuss this, what you guys wanna do. Resolution to authorize the use of town's, line fund A 16-2400 building contractual, pay for the cost of replacement doors for the highway garage in the amount not to exceed. That's what we need to decide. Is there a motion? And we can set the amount once we.
I'm sorry, can you read that one more time?
Resolution to authorize the use of town funds from line DA, resolution to authorize the use of town funds from line number A 16-2400, building contractual, to pay for the cost of replacement doors for the highway garage, in the amount not to exceed, which we need to determine on this. Is there a motion to open this?
I'll make a motion that we,
Discuss it.
discuss this and look at these bids here that we have.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's open for discussion.
Dale, can we get some input from you on what you think of the three quotes?
I don't have the quotes in front of me, but I'll do my best.
Here, you wanna take these? Yeah. I just-
this was last year's, right? This is what we're,
Yeah.
right.
So I guess I'm just more curious as to do you have a preference there, and if so, did something stand out to you that made you like one over the other?
They were all of the same caliber. One of them was 22,000, one of them was 27,000. I don't see it on this one.
I think that one turned out to be close to like 26, I think.
26.
Right, so I had no problem at all with Batavia garage door for $22,008. $22,218. He came in, we discussed, and they were all going to use the same parameters, and this is what he came up with. Yes.
Dale, all the doors on those panels, are they all insulated with the same foam and?
Yes, actually, it might be better than denser foam.
All three of those would have the
Yes,
same.
they're all, yes, all insulated doors. All with a couple of windows in them.
1620.
As I looked over the bid, I really couldn't see,
Okay, now.
in the highest bid, as I looked over, if they were talking about, the track replacement and stuff.
He went past, he went past the, parameters.
Right, but the other two, they stuck in using our same track and,
Because the track we have is of higher quality, heavier use duty. They wwere special built because of the way the door, you needed the height of the door when they bought the building. So they welded a lot of things together to the, metal girts in there. And they put the springs inside there. So it was just, there's nothing wrong with them, they say. It was just easier to reuse it again than tear it out and remanufacture everything that was already be done, because the stuff's just fine. It's much heavier duty than anything we're gonna buy.
okay, then.
Jeff, you got any questions? Nope. So are we going with the cheapest one? What do you guys?
Oh, I'm still looking at Steve, asking him, Steve and Ed and you guys, cause.
What? They're all using the same equipment, right? I mean, they're all using the same overheads, they're just replacing the uprights and the door panels. Okay.
All with windows, all insulated, all with new rollers.
Now, you said the sunrise door went beyond, I mean, that's why it was more money, where did he go on, where did he go beyond?
He bought all new track.
He could make it work with, the way he was gonna do it, I mean, they said it's not much headroom, so.
I'm sure he can make it work, but once he gets into that, he has to cut all that old stuff out that is heavier than what they're gonna put in. It's gonna probably cost us more money, more labor. They all looked at them.
More labor than, more
Yes.
additional cost besides his bid?
Yeah, in order to, they're all welded up there. So
So-
you'd have to go in there and grind all the welds out to replace the track.
So his bid
He
plus
put a bid
additional.
in with, extra track, new track, and that was past the parameters of the quote.
But he knew that he had to cut all that out then.
He looked at it all.
Did he cut it out because he thought that's what needed to happen, or he just wanted to put everything in?
When they sell doors, you sell
The whole
everything.
thing, okay.
Is there any warranty on, any of these, or what kind of warranty they got?
I would assume, it's not listed, but I would assume, I would have that put in writing.
Scott,
Mhm.
what do you think?
They all bid the same thing, I'll defer to Steve.
I'll make the motion that we go with the Batavia garage door. After reviewing both the specs of Woodruff and Batavia, there's no difference in any of the thicknesses of the door, pipe, track. There must be a difference in the labor to come up with a difference of about $4,000.
What's the amount for?
22 versus almost 26.
What's the exact?
Oh, I don't know. This one's 22,218.
Is that the one you wanted to go with?
I don't know. What do you think?
Is that what you said, Steve?
After reviewing the two different estimates, there's no difference in the thickness of the doors or the insulation or anything that I can see. But there's a $4,000 difference. So there's gotta be something there in the labor. They don't change the track according to the two specs. So I was hesitant to take the lowest bid at first, but after looking at both of them again, there's no difference in them. So I would say to go with the 22,218 if everybody else on the board agrees.
Yeah.
You're fine with it, right, Dale? Okay, it's good enough for me. I'll take the 22.
Linda, you guys good with that? The 22,218?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. So then, resolution to authorize use town funds line A1620.4, building contractual to pay for the cost of replacement doors for the highway garage in the amount not to exceed $22,218. That's what we amended that to. Steve motion, Linda second. Is there any further discussion?
Jeff, you seconded it, right? Or not?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Mrs. Laney?
Yes.
Ms. Lemina?
Yes.
Mr. Sykes?
Yeah.
Mr. Schiffer?
Yes.
I vote yes. That's carried unanimously. That's a rough day. Okay, that was the last one on the resolution.
You're gonna give me that resolution, right?
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
If you could have wrote that
Okay.
down, I would have screamed hallelujah.
Resolution, the next one is a resolution to authorize the use of town funds from line number A1620.4, building contractual to pay for the new town sign not to exceed $1,026.62. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to get the new town sign.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I have one question that kind of goes back to the other one. What if when we get all our financial numbers, we realize there's not money in these lines?
Then we'll have to do a resolution to move money from the A fund
Okay.
to cover it.
Okay, I just wanted, okay.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Motion carried. Okay, next resolution. Resolution to authorize the use of town funds from line DA 5130.400 machinery repair to pay for the tractor repairs in an amount not to exceed $14,000. Is there a motion?
Dale,
Oh, Dale.
That was an estimate. I can't guarantee that they're gonna fix it for that. It's like any piece of equipment, when it goes in the shop, you have to take the cap off and crack it in half. Pull the shuttle out. You might wanna give yourself just a little room, that's all.
What, how much a little room you thinking? $5,000?
No, I don't know. The moment it gets to the point, they will call me, to have it marked right at 14, which is the quote they went through and did all. I highly believe or doubt that it will come back less than that. I just want to protect my department and the board from an over expenditure, so I don't know, maybe not to exceed 15, 16.
Right, what account number was it again that you're using, Scott?
51,3400.
That's, was just my thought.
Is there an amount, I'm sorry, is
It's
there an amount that we would
It's
say
47,000.
it's just
Yeah.
not worth fixing, or we're well underneath that amount, like,
When you get to that point, Linda, I'm afraid you gotta put it back together, it's useless in 3 pieces outside. I can't believe that they made such an error in the quote that they would be 10,000 over.
okay.
So what are we at right now on that, Heather?
In that
That
account,
fund? Yes.
estimated in that account is 42,164.
So what are you guys comfortable with going over on that? How much? Just to cover in case.
I think 16.
16,000.
Okay. So I'll reread that. Resolution to authorize the use of town funds from line DA 5130.400 machine repair to pay for the tractor repairs in an amount not to exceed $16,000.
Now, what if they go way over? You're talking 5 or 6 grand or more. What do we do then?
Well,
Revisit it.
as soon as you hear what it's you let us know, so
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
either
right.
modify this resolution or cancel it. Okay, is there a motion?
Steve made the motion, right?
No, that was the last one.
I'll make a
No,
motion that
okay,
we,
no,
Sorry.
let Dale go up to $16,000 to fix the tractor, not to exceed that. If it goes over, you contact us and we will have to rebudget it or
Read that, yes.
recheck on different sources of fixing.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Yeah, just call them and say, hey, if it's gonna reach 14,000, call me and let me know before you do anything. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Zelaney?
Yes.
Ms. Lemonna?
Yes.
Mr. Seitz?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffer?
Yes.
And I vote yes. It's carried unanimously.
We got one more question regarding, are they gonna warranty this repair at all when they, get done? Like, 6 months or whatever?
Oh, Ed, you're on the farm too. When you've had repairs done at John Deere dealer or the international dealer, yes, they usually give you some time on the repairs that they do. Henceforth, that's why we take it to the dealer periodically, because they'll warranty the parts and the labor.
Thanks, Dale. Next 2 resolutions are paying for the new cab chassis truck. Upon recommendation from our accountant, she advised us and Kathy agrees to use the remaining of our ARPA funds so we don't risk an audit from the federal government. So it's a resolution to authorize the use of the remaining town ARPA funds to cover part of the costs associated with the acquisition of a new truck in the amount of $116,180.68. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's open for discussion. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Zelaney?
Yeah.
Ms. Lima?
Yes.
Mr. Seitz?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffer?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Unanimous, carried. Okay, the next resolution to authorize the use of town funds. Line number DB Delta Bravo 5110.400. Maintenance of roads and contractual for the acquisition of the new town truck. in the amount not to exceed $44,271. Is that gonna be exact, Dale? Or there might
As
be,
of that sheet we got the other day, yes.
do we wanna go over that a little, in case there's, how much was it? 44,271. What's in that line, Kathy, right now?
Which one again?
DB 5110-400. Should be like 80,000.
Estimated.
Oh, there's like 40.
Estimated 63.8 is left. Right, because you use DA for the other one, right?
DA 513400 for the machinery repair, yes.
Great, okay, yes, so 60. 60.
You guys wanna go up on this amount in case something from the dealer?
If that's the exact amount, I don't know that we, but.
Okay. But that's what he quoted us this morning, that's what we got on the thing.
That's what's on that
Okay.
sheet, yes, Scott.
If it changes, we'll have to readdress it. So, resolution authorize the use of town funds, line number DB 5110.400, maintenance of roads and contractual for the acquisition of the new truck, in the amount not to exceed $44,271. Is there a motion?
I'll make the
Go
motion.
with that.
Okay, I'll second it then.
It's open for discussion?
Going back to the ARPA, that's the ARPA you said is 116,180. That's the actual, what we got left over, that'd be the last of it.
Yes. That's what's sitting in the bank right now.
Minus what we spent tonight on doors, I
None of that was used, we used all of our ARPA for, all remaining ARPA for the truck. Yeah, we use line numbers for building contractual and machinery repair and maintenance contractual for the other purchases. Any further discussion, questions? Roll call vote, Mr. Zlany,
Yes.
Ms. Lemon,
Yes.
Mr. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Schiffer,
Yes.
I vote yes, unanimous, carried.
So on that truck.
Yeah.
Are you still gonna bond for the rest of it?
I'm working it out with Dale right now. We budgeted money for equipment reserve, plus we already have 87,000 equipment reserve. If we use part of the CHIPS funds and part of what we got budgeted, we should be able to pay the remainder of the equipment and not have to bond.
Okay, just
But that's
because
gonna depend on January, February, when they come up with our exact numbers. the
Right.
accountants.
you had approved a bond resolution back in July of
Yes.
2023, so that would have to change now if you're gonna bond for any other part of it, is you'd have to redo that, that's all, that's the only point I wanted to make.
Actually, I'll contact Municipal Solutions tomorrow and see what we have to do. We could bond it and then pay it off later in the year. That's a board decision, we need to discuss that, if you guys wanna do that.
Right, my only point is that you would just have to do a different bond resolution, is
Board comments. Mr. Zlini.
A couple of things, I was wondering if you got any update on negotiations with the village on the water rates at all?
Have you done anything? We still work.
I'm still working on that.
Anything else, Ed?
Yeah, one more thing, we've been on the board here, probably almost 3 years now. I'm requesting, full access to the video cameras in the whole building. I don't know if we need a resolution to do that or not, but I should be able to look at the video without any, oil or anything.
There's nothing wrong.
Doesn't mind me.
Yeah. Well,
I think you'd be able to do anyway, so I don't see that being an issue.
I hear you.
Yeah, I don't see that being an issue. I don't see it being an issue, as being a board member. Do we have to? I don't think we can.
But
I don't think so.
You could do a resolution. I don't know if there's any kind of policy, but, you know, I think I've given the opinion previously that board members are entitled to look at, you know, anything, any records that they need. So I don't know that there needs to be a formal resolution in that regard.
Also, looking through the water bills, I'm seeing the water bill from Boston yet. From the beginning of the year, first quarter, for the testing.
We haven't officially turned it on, and the amount of water that was used for the test really wasn't a concern for them to bill. They were gonna put it in when we finally turn it on and get online. I haven't found another town to work with that's been as nice as Royalton has been.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Ed. Linda?
Yeah, couple things. So we looked at a potential RFP for bookkeeping services for January. If we're gonna send that out, I think we need to discuss that, and because if we send it out now, we should be able to vote on it at the December meeting. Give them time to respond and give us time to then look at the responses.
Yeah, we're giving them, what, 30 days? I think we agreed a month.
I think
Yeah.
so. So I printed out again in case anybody wants to re-see what was on there. I just wanna say, at this point, being in the position we're in with everything still a little bit in the flux, I think it is important that we have somebody that's willing to come on site at least 2 to 3 days, especially like this time where invoices have to get put in, checks are gonna need to be cut. There's gonna be questions working with department heads maybe about how things are coded. That may at some point be able to be reduced or possibly go away, but I think for the next foreseeable future, I think it's important that we have somebody that will come here.
I agree with that.
And your qualifications, on-site support, that's gonna knock our current accounting firm out of the,
That may, but this was not written in a way to knock anybody out, it was written in a way to determine what do I believe, after being in this field 40 years, what do I believe is the most important thing for us right now, and that's what I believe.
okay, well, I don't agree with that, and having a certified public accountant, I don't think that should be in there either.
Well, it says preferably with that one.
Yeah.
Again, it goes to the licensing goes to the fact that somebody has pursued the education and the work experience, I guess, I just think it's important at this point, so.
I'm in a situation right now, where we're paying these firms to fix all this. I think it's a good idea. There's a lot of backup, we got a former state auditor on staff and everything. I mean, it'll be That'd be good for the town.
But it isn't even them, I mean, so surely single source could apply, Drescher and Malecki, Lumsden and McCormick, Bonadio, there's several firms in Buffalo that do this kind of work. And I would hope that several, if not all of them, since they're fairly close, would send somebody on site, but again, if they don't, then I think that throws them out for a while. I mean, if we get to a point where we think we've got everything under control and things are moving smoothly and we get through a year end, reports are coming out the way they're supposed to and we don't have any accounting issues, then we could readdress it. But the other thing is, if we stick where we are, which I'm not against them, except for they wanna change our software. We're just barely getting ourselves straightened around with what we have now. When we start changing software, you just throw one more big wrench into something that I'm not sure we really wanna do at this point.
Okay, so preferably a public CPA, but not mandatory.
Yeah,
Okay, preferably, I'm good with that, preferably, okay. But I'm against the minimum 3 days per month. If they can, I'm for it, but we not make it
So how,
a wall that they have to do it.
so if we decide that we wanna put the invoices with the firm,
Mhm.
how are you gonna get invoices to somebody if they don't come on site and get them and put them in while they're here?
Upload.
No, that means that there's no discussion with department heads or no sign-offs. You're looking at now transferring invoices to them, then they're gonna enter them, then they're gonna come back here. You are adding time to the process, and what about cutting checks? How are you handling that?
Well, they won't cut the, so,
Well, that means we've got somebody here doing it, and we don't have anybody on staff that's got accounting experience. And I think, again, at this point with where we are, we certainly don't wanna get everything fixed and then take steps backwards. I think we should be doing everything we can to stay out of trouble.
well, we are, everything's being done. They call us, we do what they say, we print it, we move it.
They can't hear you, Steph.
That's on. LGSS calls us, says you need to move these funds, you need to pay this bill, you need to transfer here, and that's what we do.
But we
Who's-
don't,
Yeah, who's doing it?
I'm doing it, or Cassandra's doing it. They will not move it. They have they have access to our funds, but they don't have, what's the word I'm looking for? They can't move funds, they can't transfer funds,
Right, they don't have authority.
they don't have authority.
Can we give them authority?
they won't.
No,
And,
No,
nobody
they
will
won't
pay.
take that.
But what
it has
about
to-
entering the invoices?
We could make that part of it, yeah. Entering the invoice.
But now you're,
If we can get someone to do the invoices, that's, well, I think you have that on here, right?
yes,
Okay.
but that's the point of them coming on staff, or coming on site.
I think the taxpayers, not even 2 years ago, put $75,000 for this new software system.
No, ARPA did that.
Well,
It's still taxpayers.
it's
though.
taxpayers'
It's
money.
ARPA's still
Federal
taxpayer-
money.
But it's still taxpayer money
Yeah,
that we could have used to buy the truck
Yeah,
or buy
there
something
you
else,
go.
so it's still money that basically these taxpayers.
I don't think that should be
Stop.
changed.
Jeff, what do you guys think?
Well, weren't we waiting till December end before we do this?
No, you
No,
need,
we wanna send
you
this
need
out.
the approval, you need to send this out now
Yeah,
to
but
get,
just to
to
see.
get, right,
Oh, I
to
got
get,
no issue with that.
Yeah.
But I thought you were talking about changing them now.
But we're trying to do, no, we're talking about what requirements do we want from a firm going forward, starting in January.
wasn't there also discussion of doing an option to include the vouchers and an option to not
Yeah.
include the
Yeah.
vouchers?
both.
Yes.
And then for payroll, I mean, would you be willing to go with a completely separate entity for payroll? So one of the things that Nicole mentioned again today was that she would recommend that the town uses a completely separate entity for payroll, that it would save the town a lot of money
I think
to just use this one.
all firms, I think, will do that.
Okay.
They're not gonna do it themselves on site, they're gonna go to like an ADP or Paychex or somebody like that, they're not gonna do it themselves.
Okay.
But that's another thing, so they, they're coming in, if they're coming in, they're grabbing the payroll information, they're, getting everything they need to run the payroll, receiving the reports back.
So we're doing, there's gonna be two different RFPs? Is that what you were saying?
Two different quotes, the criteria stays the same. Well, I should say that, one will be a quote if they do not do the invoices. And the other will be a quote if they do the invoices for us.
So we'd have to change number 6 to say that,
Number 6.
which is proposal instructions on the next page.
Yeah, I just put it in the RFP because, you could put that, you can kind of section that one off and say, this is a requirement for the one quote, but not a requirement obviously for the other quote. But whether they do the invoices or not, I still believe that the person needs to come here.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Can we reword this? If possible, they come here?
No, not in my mind, no. I think that's one of the most important things on there.
I think we should start having them come in here, and we'll see how it, you need to come in here, as far as I'm concerned. You don't wanna end up like we did before, I don't know if it's in right now, so.
We've been working with this LGSS. I know you're not against them, Linda. The only thing that you're not happy with is that they're not on site. I hate to throw them under the bus and not have them be able to compete on the requirements that we're looking at, just because they don't come on site or they don't have a CPA.
Understood, but I think you need to step back and you're not writing an RFP to pick a company, you're writing an RFP for what do we need.
Yeah.
And if companies can provide that, then they should participate, and if they can't provide that, then unfortunately they shouldn't be considered, but you don't write the RFP to accommodate a company.
You don't write it to exclude a company.
I'm not, I
You
got
are.
40 years, no, I'm not, I've got 40 years in this field, and I'm telling you, this is my professional opinion, what I believe we need at this point in time.
Because we already
And it
know.
might be different in a year from now.
Yes, there's no talking.
Sorry.
There's no public comment yet.
Sorry. I'm just telling you from my professional experience, I believe you need somebody on site, at least for the next year. If we can get through the next year and we have a clean bill of health and everything looks great and all of our processes are flowing just fine, you can always reevaluate.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if we spend the money we're spending, and then we find that we've got gaps somewhere and things are falling through the cracks, we're gonna look pretty foolish.
Good. Jeffrey?
Well, I just figure we give the LGSS till what, December,
Yeah.
right? I'm not against what Linda wants to do. I say we put it out there in the manner that she's written it and see what we get back. But at the end of it, come January, if LGSS has solved all their problems, then I don't know why we gotta go somewhere else. But if they haven't, and what Linda's saying is true, then I fully support what she wants to do.
One other thought is if you're having somebody here constantly having to send information back and forth, it's costing you more money because you're tying up somebody here to send information, and then over there, because it's taking them longer to get it and look through it, whereas if they're here on site and they have access to everything right in front of them, if there's questions for somebody, they can access people directly, as opposed to having to try to chase them down, you know, through email or phone call.
So Jeff, you're good with this the way it's written?
Yep.
Steve?
Okay, yeah.
Ed?
No,
Linda?
Yes.
I'm not, but majority rules, so we'll send this RFP out. As it's written. Okay, what's next?
Before Mr. Parati gets up and asks about the soil and water, do we have an update on Furnace Parkway and the median? Were you able to work with them for soil and water at all, or do you have an update from them on the water issue?
Well, we have the, recommendation from Soil and Water, but between other jobs and people taking days off and vacation, I'm very limited on staff.
Okay, I didn't even know we had a, can you tell us what their
Well,
suggestion
there was a couple
is?
of different options, and, one of them is putting in a drainage tile and some gabion stone in the beginning and the end, and, capturing all the water from the sump pumps that are going in there into the tile line, and then sending it all to the north onto private property.
Okay.
Whose property?
is that through his yard or down that existing ditch he's got, or is that out towards, the end of the median?
There is some kind of a ditch there.
And then would it go all the way to Maple Ridge Road, or does it stop somewhere?
That's where it's supposed to go. There's a DI between
What's DI?
drainage intake, between the homes on 31 and the homes in the back.
And
And we have a way to do it, but, again, we just haven't had staff or time.
I'm not asking if it's done, I'm just asking, do we have a resolution for when there is time
I don't
available?
think we need a resolution.
What-
I
No,
don't,
I-
I mean resolution, sorry.
Like game plan.
Yeah, game plan.
We have a game plan, yes.
I don't,
But
I,
like this
did we
morning,
get,
if we'd have had it figured out to do it this morning, we had a water main break. Like, so there's always something that's more pressing, weather related, and there has been a lot of vacations and staff gone.
I'm not criticizing it wasn't, I didn't realize we had
But
a
no,
game plan.
I have a game
Okay.
plan. I talked to Soil and Water. I have the, I got everything here.
Okay, does that also, as you go through the private property, is that a
I
very,
don't go through private property. I will send it underneath the road in the culvert pipe, and then from there it has to take the natural course to it.
okay, so I get,
So
okay.
that's gonna go right there.
I can't traverse on private property.
Understood, so then we don't have a way to keep the
No.
Well,
water,
that's one reason why I'll do it. We will probably do it. I'm afraid of what the result is after we do it. Right
I don't
now,
understand the
you've got
situation, so
people
no.
pushing their sump pump water into the ditch.
right?
Furnace Parkway.
You've got
House
surface water that goes into the ditch. You've got a couple culvert pipes,
down Ferrato's house.
and there's, water sits in there, and eventually it just migrates through the grass, through the culverts, heading north towards Maple Ridge.
Into this ditch.
If I put a tile line in there and capture everything, it goes now. It doesn't sit there and
Depends on
absorb
if there's
into
an
the
easement.
dirt. It doesn't just meander where it's absorbed.
I'm sorry, can you, when you say a tile line, are you saying a tile line on the north side of Furnace Parkway, or you're
No,
saying
in
to
the
go?
ditch, in the ditch, in
to
our
go-
median. Our
Okay, to
median.
go over to Furnace Parkway.
No,
I'm sorry, to go underneath the road,
the culvert pipe that goes under the road is already there.
right?
And we were gonna scoop out the sod,
Yeah.
and then we were gonna lay a piece of tile in there, and that captures the water. And then, we put gabion stone in the inlet and the discharge end, where the culvert pipe is that goes underneath Furnace Parkway. And and then it traverses down through private property.
So I think we're talking two different things, my mistake. You're talking about fixing the water within the median,
That's all I can do,
and I'm
yes.
talking about that water
Yeah,
that leaches
ending up in
up
this-
under the road to the north
Yeah.
and ends up on private property.
Private property.
That's the problem that we're
Yeah,
trying to
That's all we
resolve,
gotta,
because,
You'll have to ask them if it is a huge problem now, but if that's, I'm gonna exasperate it even more by sending more water in there.
right, and I thought the whole point of soil and water was to try to figure out a way to
Divert
get it out of the
Yeah,
median
divert
and
it
not
somewhere
onto
else.
private property.
The problem started with them not being able to mow it because the median was wet. We came in there because that has been discovered that is our property.
Correct.
So in order for us to reduce the moisture, the wetness of that median, that's how we fix it.
But
It was
somebody,
not, it had nothing to do with the private property.
but there is a pipe that goes from Shelby property under
Under
the road
Yes,
and dumps that water
Into
onto somebody's
private
private property, and that's the concern,
that's the
Kathy.
issue.
the issue was the water in the median that they couldn't mow
There was
the
two
grass.
issues. There was
The
two.
only thing that I can be responsible for is our property. So for me to fix that, so they could mow the lawn, was to drain the median.
So going out the end of the Furnace Parkway to the west, dumping it out that way, that's not an issue, or
That's not an option.
What was the second option?
Oh, you said, because you said there was two options.
Filling it in.
The median.
You're still gonna get water coming across, and
Well, we're still gonna put a tile line in there, cause I have to capture all of the water that
Can
the
you
sump
plug,
pumps.
can you plug up the tile that runs underneath the road over to,
Oh, no,
property?
no,
why not?
you cannot stop the natural flow of water.
But it's not natural if there's a pipe under there, then that wasn't.
Well, there
I mean,
is.
I don't know.
The surface water, the surface, you've then created a pond, you've then created a retention pond, because your water comes down the road, it drains in there. The water from their basements drain into there. If I stop it up,
But the water in that median is not natural, it's
of
coming.
course it is.
Well,
It
it's,
comes from rain, and it comes from the runoff, and it comes from
It
people's basements.
that's my
Then-
point, it
then-
comes from
then-
somebody else's property who's draining into the median, which is now draining into somebody
Well,
else's
they're all
property.
doing it, so you're opening up a Pandora's box if you want me to disconnect sump pump lines into the median.
No, I'm not saying do that, I'm saying, but what's our other, there's gotta be another way to get water out of that median and not onto somebody else's private property and making their property a
I
soggy
have
mess.
no idea what that would be.
Yeah, I thought that's what soil and
That's
water
what
was.
we're, yeah, that's what they're supposed to be
Oh,
looking
that's
at.
right.
And this
So-
is 31?
So,
Well, in your field, that, I mean, how do you move a low spot? You tile it out. You can't take it another direction unless you go really, really deep, and that becomes cost effective.
That won't
When
drain, that
the
won't
water,
drain to the west.
can you change a ditch on the roadside where you discharge because it doesn't, you know, can you change how water naturally traverses heading to the lake?
We took a shot, yeah, Jimmy and I took a shot at it, from the pipe going into private property across the road to the end of Furnace Parkway to the west, it was like a foot and a half drop underneath the road.
Yeah, but you're expecting a private individual to accept all the water.
But we have another private individual.
There's a 25-foot barrier between Robert Farm and Furnace Park. It's no man's land.
Okay,
Todd Roberts doesn't want the extra water,
understood.
so that's
But
what's
John
going
Parada
on.
doesn't want it either, so what can we do, I
Oh, so it
guess?
comes from over there?
I can't do anything. I cannot drain private property land. I can only.
I
Right, but there's
understand what you're
another
saying,
culvert
Dale,
I don't
there.
know what you want from me, I can't do it.
but somebody put a pipe from the median under the road to come out somewhere else.
Long time ago, that was done long before anybody.
Understood, but just
It's
because it
always
was done
been there.
1,500 years doesn't mean it's right, so now we're looking at it saying,
I can plug it up
How
and
is
then we'll have a retention pond and then we'll have snakes and mosquitoes and the only thing I can do to drain so they can mow the grass is put a tile
There's no easement there?
So,
Mr. Barata, is there an easement on your property for the town?
East, north to west?
Is there an easement where that ditch is?
No, that's my property.
That's his property, no
Well,
easement.
actually, if you look at our surveys out there, my property's 300 feet deep. My survey says only 265, you own 35 feet of my front lawn. Right, so you own 35 feet off the edge of the shoulder also. There is
Center
an
of the
easement,
road.
you have your easement on the end of the road, and you have your easement on the shoulder of the road, just like.
Yeah, but following that ditch back, there's no easement. Okay,
Running north and
All I
south.
know is there's a drain out in the back
That's door 31.
that you could hook into, and it goes right, it follows up, it goes behind Pedro, and then goes right up to 31. There's already a drain
It's
there.
you have a drain behind your house and there's no easement for it.
There's a drain, they put
That's
it,
where the
I don't know
DI
if there's
is.
an easement, I don't know.
That's where the
There's a
There,
drain.
so there is a drainage easement there.
There is a drain out in the back.
there's a
the
DI.
DI is here, this is
Town
what you're
does
looking
not
at right
own
here.
it. I believe Art Hill installed it.
Yes, he installed it for the town of Shelby.
I don't know if those for the town of Shelby or for the residents to drain it.
No,
I
the
can't
town of
answer that.
Shelby.
Mike, do you have any information on this that you can help us out?
Yeah.
Can you remember?
Mike, come on up to the mic.
I'll have to call
Is that way easier?
The
Mhm.
the one for John Parada, the town, at that time, we didn't have a track hole for one thing. The town hired Art Hill to put a drain in there. I'm sure we got an easement for that. We don't go on proper, just to cover our butts. And then after we, attained a small backhoe, we put one, some kind of a drain in by Iorio's. I'm not sure on the easement on that one. I know you guys are talking about this, so we had problems up on the, west end up by Mac's house. We had to get an easement or permission from, Mr. Roberts to run, another drain over into his field, and they tiled out to the main drag. So it's been done, but you gotta get easements, and you gotta get cooperation of the landowner.
So there's a tile already up on the end of, Furnace Parkway to the west.
There's no tile, I'm not sure. No, I'm on the east side.
Oh,
Right
east
in
side,
front of, Tommy Mac's house. We couldn't get rid of the water,
Yeah.
so,
It doesn't matter, you can't do it.
got a hold of,
If
Roberts.
you've done it, you're gonna
He
have to
agreed.
take an easement. for
There
it.
might have been an easement, there might have been a handshake, but, we had to run a pipe,
But like,
and I think Art Hill did it, I don't think we did it.
Well, we need to check.
On,
if there's an easement.
Tom Mack,
That's what we're, that's.
and they ran it to the main drag.
But I do think,
That's the only way we could get rid of the water out of there.
right, cause you can't,
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
So I think we're gonna need to figure out, we're gonna need to pull some deeds, and figure out where easements do and don't exist. The law is that you can't, with respect to stormwater runoff or water runoff in general, right? Like, if it is flowing in its natural course and if it is sheet flow, nothing can be done about it, right? So if you're a downhill owner and water's running downhill onto your property, doesn't matter, right? There's no liability, water's just flowing like water flows. When you dig ditches and install pipes, you've effectively channelized and directed water. And the law is that you can't channelize and direct water onto somebody else's property. So we're gonna need to figure out if there's easements. If there's not easements, we're gonna need to talk about potentially acquiring those easements. And then the town would have to do whatever it needs to do to make sure that the water flows where it's supposed to flow.
Mike, do you remember, was there a resolution done for this pipe that I know
The one
it
for
was moved, right, about 6-10 feet on Mr. Parada's property?
Braddock's,
Yeah,
we moved it.
I mean, was there a resolution for that, or you just moved it
We
from?
moved it,
Okay,
because of, there was, obstruction of the water, we had to move it.
so the pipe was originally there, we just moved it over?
We moved it, yeah. But, not to interrupt anymore, but I know there's an issue up on Burns Parkway, and I think you're gonna have to get easement. We had to go after, we had to ask, Mr. Roberts to get an easement to take it down to 31A.
Yeah, so
And then,
we'll check
it
into it.
was, Art Hill did it.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, so, Kathy's gonna check on easement. Anything else, Linda?
Yeah, sorry, one last thing. The CPL report, we were kind of talking budget stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything from him?
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't gotten anything, I've been so busy with the budget, I haven't even started with that.
I'm just,
I will.
just so Kathy, the rest of, I'm just looking for, so when Jason presented, there was a $4,000 report that he was going to provide after the testing was done, and it sounds like the testing was done and the vaults are installed, so I'm looking for what report he would have provided. That's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Linda. Steve?
I don't have
Jeff?
anything.
Yeah, there's interest in improving the Mill Run Park. Suggestions were a pavilion, picnic tables, swing set, horseshoe pits, barbecue grill. Make it family friendly. I don't know if the community wants that or not. To me, from my standpoint, I think it would be a good thing, but that's just my version. That's it.
Somebody contacted you for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Didn't somebody contact you?
Same,
Also,
she asked me to.
Same person? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was Angie Taylor.
Okay. Do you have anything, Kathy?
Yes. Were you guys gonna do an auditor's RFP too? Because I think we need a new auditing firm. I'm sorry, I think the town needs a new auditing firm.
Yes, I'm sorry, I did say that I would put something together and send it to Scott and the board, and I will get that done in the next couple of days.
Okay.
And then just with respect to water, so I have been trying to research some of the water questions that have come up. So the question about can, the amounts paid for, the bonds, the debt principal and debt interest be put on the tax bills. I've only gotten through a couple of the water districts. I was going through old minute books and I need to continue to go through them, but what I've discovered so far for the districts that I found is that when the districts were set up, they were set up to assess those fees on a benefit basis rather than an ad valorem basis. And an ad valorem basis is essentially how your property taxes get assessed or set, right? So there's a value to your property, and then depending on that value, there's a rate that's applied. That's not how the water districts that I've looked at so far were set up. They were set up to be applied on a benefit basis, so the benefit that, I don't know if it's by district or if it's by property, I'm still working that part out. But what happens in that case then is that that fee gets divided up accordingly on the water bills, so not on the tax bills. So for the districts that I've seen set up on a benefit basis, they're gonna have to stay on tax bills as long as there's debt service and debt principal.
You mean on the water?
On the water bill.
On the water bill, sorry, yes, water bill. And then with respect to the $25 fee for Water District 1, it does look like that was set up in 2012. And that it was set up for the $25, and what I've raised and what we're gonna be looking at is whether there needs to be its own special, whether that $25 from everybody needs to go into its own special fund. So we're looking into that now. That's all for now, yes.
Okay, public comment. George Phillips. John Pratt.
I just got a couple questions here. How's the water project coming from Martin Road to Sanderson? Have you got any grant for that, or how are we coming on that? Has anybody got any knowledge of that?
I haven't heard anything on that, John. From Sanderson to where?
From Martin to Sanderson.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on it.
Is that a new water district? Or is that part of an existing water district? I don't know, I'm just asking.
It's coming from, it's kind of an add-on, I don't know what exactly. They were-
13, I think they figured it was gonna be, water 13.
It was water 13.
Okay.
So looking for a grant and all that, just wondering. Goes away from our house, we still need water. That's how the politics operate. Let's see what else I've got here. On your auditing, I don't know if we're going back far enough to get this squared away. The auditing, when I was on the board, first started on the board, I thought there was problems, brought it up. Steve was there, I got poo-poo, shied away, 4-1. We got a problem, you don't need to run it. I think we need to go back at least 5 years and check out what's been going on all this time. And let's see here. Who's doing the payroll now for the town employees?
The accounting firm LGSS.
They're doing the payroll? Yeah. Okay. And with what you were talking about, Kathy Bennett, our lawyer, said that there should be no problem with the rest of the board looking at all the books and stuff. That in turn goes for payroll too, right?
Everything.
Everything, okay. That's about all I got. Thank you.
Yannick Brock.
Last night in the workshop, we brought up is it Tina? I think
Yes.
she brought up, there's 4 districts out of the 12 that aren't meeting their billing. They're in the red. And we're taking, to meet them, we're taking money out of our funds and paying for them districts. So shouldn't we be looking at them 4 districts that are in the red and up their fees? Because the rest of us are paying for that.
I don't know that that's necessarily the case, because I don't see anything that shows where there's been a credit for that amount that's paid for debt, principal and interest.
But she made the statement.
She did, because if you just look at the way this is done, and I don't think she understood that until we had the conversation yesterday, that there's a separate amount that gets billed for that debt, principal and interest. So she was gonna go look into that.
Okay,
And no, you're not wrong. It all needs, the water districts need a lot of figuring out. So that's what we're all trying to do. But you're not wrong. If they do need, if there need to be adjustments made, the town's gonna have to figure that out.
Right, because I mean, yeah, that's 1/3 of all our
Right.
districts.
Right,
If
so.
we're not taking enough money in, we need to be getting it from somewhere, not let everybody else pay for it.
Right, and I just think at this point, we don't know if they are or they're not, because she needs to get that information and then account for those payments that are coming in towards the debt principal and debt interest. So I think we'll learn and know more as we continue
Okay,
to get into this.
all right.
But yes, you are correct. If they are not covering their expenses, then something's going to need to change to make sure that those districts cover their expenses.
Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Thanks, Yannick. Jim Hemingway, Mr. Waters.
I was gonna pass tonight as well, but I just wanted to clarify, because I too was at the workshop last night. In regards to this, service charge fee, it was discovered and reported by Trish, right?
Tina.
As per the resolution in 2012, it was in writing that it was to be put in a reserve fund, and she did not find that fund. What she discovered is that that money is being dumped into the general fund, the water district, and not held in reserve. So to me, that's misappropriation from day one. Not to mention, was the bond payment $25? Where did the $25 come from? Nowhere in writing does it say, service fee shall be $25 forevermore. Was it 10? Did they raise it to 15? Now it's 25. Still not enough to cover the self-sustaining district, so we're gonna bump it up some more. And again, in my opinion, because it is a fee and not based on usage, it ought to be on the tax bill.
So I talked to Mr. Hausnick, did I say his name right? Because he was on board in 2012, and he specifically remembered passing that resolution, and he specifically remembered that it was for $25. As to why it wasn't recorded as being $25, I wasn't around, I don't have an answer for you, it should have been, but he said that to me before I ever said anything to him about what the amount was.
That to me does not excuse the fact that it's not in writing.
I don't disagree.
That ought to be revisited and voted on by this current board. And also in consideration of moving that to the tax bill. But that's gonna be a process going forward. Forevermore, when all these district bonds are satisfied, you can still anticipate, hey, we're still gonna whack you for a service fee, rather than using the data from years and years of water usage per district to determine, rather than do a service fee, we're gonna bump the rate up by 26 cents per dollar. One or the other is my recommendation.
Yeah, the resolution, but there's nothing in the resolution that specifies the amount. But when I talked to Mr. Hausnick about it, he said, yes, we passed that resolution and I believe it was for $25, which it is for $25. It's just, that amount isn't specified anywhere it should have been. So yes, this board should probably readdress that.
I won't be paying until it is.
Okay.
Kathy, were we gonna do something on that solar?
Oh, that's right, I was supposed to give an update.
You're gonna work on definitely, access to the property, the leases, not leases.
Yes, but I was gonna give an update on Hemlock, Farms, the solar farm. So they gave an update that said that they're hoping to start construction in summer of 2025. So they are in the process now of sending out various agreements that they want the town to review, including a host community agreement, a road use agreement. So I'll get that to you, Dale, for you to take a look at. One of the other things that the town is going to need to consider is with respect to some building code issues and the size of the roadway, and they're trying to get an exemption from the state for the size of the roadway. And the town will need to decide whether it wants to retain sort of its own engineering firm to act as a monitor, or whether we want to work with Lobella, who is doing this for the town of Barry. But I gotta talk to Bridget at the town of Barry. She's gonna put me in touch with someone from Lobella, and I can also go back to Wendell and get a quote from them as to what they would charge for being a monitor and for reviewing the plans with respect to the building code as well, just to get you some help with that.
And we're approximately 18% in Shelby, so out of that 40%.
Yeah, well, so, right, so the other thing that the town is gonna have to consider is, instead of a pilot agreement, essentially they're gonna enter into a pilot agreement, but basically the pilot agreement with IDA is going to say that they're, instead of paying pilot funds, they're gonna pay each of the affected taxing jurisdictions through host community agreements for the 2 towns in the county, and then through educational benefit funds or something like that for the various school districts. They are paying $4,500 a megawatt. That is going to be split between the towns, the county, and the school districts, with the towns getting 40% to split between them based on the percentage of the project that is within each of the town's boundaries, and 18% of the project is within the town of Shelby. So if you take 40% of 4,500 and then 18% of that, that's what's coming to the town of Shelby. I haven't done the math yet, sorry. So the town would be asked to waive the pilot and instead take that money through a host community agreement, which I do agree with entering into a host community agreement rather than the pilot for that. So that'll probably be next month.
You good?
I'm good now, yeah. Thanks, Linda, sorry, I forgot about that. Anything else that I forgot about?
No, I was just gonna say one thing. So Thursday night at 6 o'clock is our next budget workshop. I would suggest if people wanna know what's in the budget to come to the workshop, because it will cut down on the amount of questions that might come up on Tuesday when we make the tentative budget preliminary. You'll hear all the details as the discussions are happening, as opposed to trying to get little tidbits at the meeting. So just an FYI.
Isn't the 15th when the public can see a copy of it?
Yeah,
Yes, I believe.
Once we
yeah,
make the
yes,
preliminary.
but you'll hear the back and forth on
Yeah.
whatever questions we have, and you'll understand what's in the line items, and you'll kind of have a better understanding of why the line items are what they are.
And aren't we going line by line, or close to it?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Show up Thursday and we're going over it line by line.
And you can always look at last year's budget to get an idea of what each of
Yeah.
the line items are until you get the preliminary one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people showing up, and we probably ought to have it in this room, wouldn't you think? Is it available?
What night is that on?
I don't
Thursday?
know
We
what
should be
that
all right.
is.
So,
We should be all right on Thursday.
well, we can wait and see. I mean, it's no big deal to move over here, so.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I can let everyone know, the board and myself, we're not taking a pay raise this year. What we're given, I put it in there, but we all decided, we're just not gonna do it, so. No councilman or supervisor are taking a raise this year. What else is there on that? That was it, right? Yeah. All right, can I get a motion to close the meeting?
Scott, did you have anything for the legislator?
Hmm?
Bill's here, the legislator.
Where?
He's over in the corner.
Where? Oh, he's hiding. Oh. Mr. Ike, county legislator, you have anything?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see you hiding over there behind Mr. Hemingway.
Well, I'll apologize for being late tonight. I forgot it was 6 o'clock, but I've been in Albion all day today and all day yesterday. We're working on budget, I know what you're going through. It's not an easy process. Put it that way. There is one thing, couple things. You probably all paid your school taxes and have gone through the new bank. They'll be in there. The old, I don't know what the bank was called, but it's up by the river. But the Buildings and Grounds Department remodeled that hall in did an excellent job of it. And we come out very reasonably priced and very pleased with it. We got a lot of projects going on. We've got a building, public safety building roof to repair. It's gonna be $1,000,000. We're looking at probably over $1 million to fix that. The old trusses are giving out. It's a flat roof, and we're working with Wendell to get that going, and hopefully we're gonna put that out for bid shortly. There's one other thing that was brought up at our IDA meeting committee meeting yesterday morning. I believe you got a letter from IDA in regards to the Medina sewer plant down here. They want to do a study in regards to excess water coming in and maybe going down there from the park.
No, I think it was for sewer.
Have you got that letter?
You're talking a letter we got from Gabe, it's for connecting the sewer,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, for connecting the
Yeah.
sewer, yeah.
So I would say, really consider helping us out with that. I believe also Ridgeway's involved with it, and the county's involved, so we want to get all three entities involved. There's some projects coming in, and we want to make sure that we've got facility to accommodate the excess water. So that's about it.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Thank you, sir. Okay, now, can I get a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're closed. Thanks, everyone.
This is yours, right?